if someone buys a sneaker for, I don't know, let's say $100, $200, and if they can sell it for 500 or 1,000, cool. I think in the end, the one thing I think everyone agree now that that world's kind of ended because there is no resale market. Now what do you do? So it's kind of like it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. What are,
Like say we really saw that happen with the resale stores and then the stock X's and I can't keep up. But it was really around that like Yeezy era of like they just kept on making stuff and it was like, oh, we sold 100,000. You're like, yeah, but 90, I'm making up numbers. No, don't quote me. Yeah, but 90,000 were resold or 50, and so it's all fake. But then the model was like, does anyone actually know what we're selling or how many things are just sitting in a fill in the blank reseller store in Fairfax that no one really wants, but we sold them. So in our books, we made money. The store sold them, so they made money. But now they're just sitting somewhere. It's like that thing in that Raiders of the Lost Ark where all the arcs are in the boxes. You're like, damn, there's a lot of boxes back there. And then it's just like no one cares at some point.
yeah.
So it's a very risky thing. And I think to what Tom's point is, it's very risky being an artist because the money on art's completely made up. Someone's literally being, is that worth 50,000, 100,000, half a million? And then like, okay, so we have a few at half a million. That's good. But now you made more. And then someone's like, I don't want those anymore. And then it goes back to 50 or 40 or 80 or so it's a very risky game to play. You have to ask yourself, do you really want to play that game?
What are your thoughts on the term streetwear in general? Like, was that a label that you personally embraced to describe what you were doing, or is it more of a term that was kind of coined by outsiders to try and categorize something that didn't quite fit into the mainstream playbook at the time? I mean,
I don't like it for many reasons. I mean, I think historically it started with Vision Streetwear, so it did exist in that, but no one was like, "Oh, this is streetwear." It just that was Vision Streetwear, and it was like, well, good, bad, or indifferent. They made some T-shirts and some shoes, and cool team, but it wasn't like, "Wow, they're onto something." But that's the first time I heard it. But it was never like, "Hey, Sean, what are you doing? Nothing. You want to talk for a minute? Are we doing streetwear?" Those conversations never happened. So I think the world put it onto it. I think it's one of the stupidest terms I've ever heard in my life. Doesn't mean anything.
so it's definitely something that was kind of coined from the outside in the way that like, a surfer were never going to say like cowabunga, dude, that's a gnarly barrel. It's like kind of like terminology that's like
There's
put upon
languages
them.
just get put on. I prefer the term street culture because at least it's bigger. Because I don't, streetwear is just an outfit. Now, again, I'm not knocking it. It pays the bills. It's not a horrible name. But to me, we all work in street culture, music, obviously clothing, style, sneakers, could have been literature. It could have even been a restaurant or something, just anything that went into somewhere where people would galvanize around. And then there's obviously the action sports parts of it for people that were interested in that. So I prefer the term street culture, which also I don't think is brilliant, but at least it tells more about that. Hey, it sounds like something like your parents will be like, it's Christmas. Where we get our kid? Oh, he really likes to skateboard and likes hip hop. We should get him a streetwear T-shirt. That's kind of, and then like then malls. When you really see those cringy mall things of like like Tilly's or Journeys, you're like, this is bad. This is really bad. So it's just a term.